Welcome back to the lecture series of function of complex variable. So myself Santanu Das, I am assistant professor of Department of Basic Science and Humanities, IIM Kolkata. So first we will going to discuss. We have already defined what is the complex valued function. Now we will discuss what do you mean by the mapping or a function, or what are the geometrical consequences of defining a complex valued function, and what are the different sort of mapping or function we can define in the complex domain. So as I have told earlier, so whenever we are defining a complex valued function, total 4 variables are there. That means whenever we are taking the input, that means the independent variable z. So being a complex value, so z has two parts actually, x and y, real and imaginary part. So there are two variables, and its corresponding image w must have two parts also. That means real and imaginary part. So there are actually 4 variables, x, y, u, v. So it is not possible for us to draw all these 4 variables together in a graph, because we can draw the graph up to 2 dimension or 3 dimension. So what we need to do here? So just we know that we can represent z in the 2 dimensional eigenplane, and we can represent w being a complex number in another 2 dimensional eigenplane. So we are considering 2 plane rather. One is the z plane, another is the w plane. So if I identify a point z in the z plane, so that means there will be this will be a point in the 2 dimensional eigenplane. So it can be written in the form of order pair x comma y. So z can be written in the form of x plus iy. So this will be z. Z can be written in the form of x plus iy. That means it can be represented as the point. So similarly, corresponding to z, I will get the image in w plane. So where the real axis is u and imaginary axis is v, then I will get a point w here. So w will be a point in the w eigenplane. So it has two components, real and imaginary part. So it can be represented in the form of order pair u comma v. So in that way, so if I vary the value of z, so I will get different points in the z eigenplane. So corresponding to all those points, I will get its image in the w plane. So I will if I join all the points in the z plane, you know that in 2 dimension I will get a equation of, or I will get a 2 dimensional figure. That can be a circle, that can be a straight line, that can be ellipse, that can be a parabola, that can be hyperbola. So different sort of geometrical figure we will get if we join different points by varying the value of the independent variable z here. So corresponding to all these values of z, since we are getting the value of w here, so similarly if we join all the values of w, so we will get a 2 dimensional figure in the w plane. So here we can say that geometrically, whenever the complex value z is mapped to a complex value w by virtue of the function f, rather we are actually mapping one geometrical figure, 2 dimensional geometrical figure from z plane to w plane. So the complex valued function can be identified as a mapping which maps some 2 dimensional geometrical figure from one 2 dimensional eigenplane to another 2 dimensional eigenplane. So that is the significance, because whenever we are defining a real valued function, so I can get different points in 2 dimension, I can get different points in 3 dimension, and if I join them, then I will get an equation of curve, or I will get an equation of surface. So I am taking arbitrary point, I am joining them in one variable or 2 variables, then corresponding to those I am getting some images. But here I am mapping actually 2 dimensional geometrical figure from one plane to another plane. So that is the significance of mapping in the complex plane. So then I will discuss different sort of mapping that we can define in the complex plane. So one mapping is called as the conformal mapping, another mapping is called as the isogonal mapping. So what do you mean by the conformal mapping? So conformal mapping means, let's say in the z plane we are taking two curves, because I have told earlier if I vary the value of z, by joining them I can get an equation of curve. That curve can be a 2 dimensional curve. So curve means generally it represents a 2 dimensional geometrical figure. So say I have got a curve c1, and by varying another set of values of z I am getting another curve c2, and they are intersecting at a point x0 y0, and the angle between these two curves are say theta, let's say theta. Then I know that whenever I am defining a mapping, so the mapping will map each of the points. So x0 y0 is mapped to u0 v0, and all the points that are there in c1 curve are mapped to the curve c1 dash in w plane, and all the points which are mapped in the, or which are over the curve c2 are mapped to another curve c2 dash in w plane. Now they are say intersecting at the point u0 v0 with an angle. Then if the magnitude of the angle that is made between c1 and c2 curve is same as the magnitude of the angle that is made by c1 dash and c2 dash curve, as well as their direction is same. Direction means the direction, if it is here anti-clockwise, here also it will be anti-clockwise. If here direction is clockwise, here also the direction will be clockwise. Then we'll say that this is a conformal mapping. So what do you mean by the conformal mapping? Conformal mapping means whenever we are defining a function, as I have told earlier, it maps some geometrical figure from z plane to w plane. So let's say we are taking two curves C1 and C2 which are intersecting at a point x0, y0, and by virtue of the mapping that we are defining, x0, y0 is mapped to u0, v0. All the points over the curve C1 is mapped to another curve C1 dash in w plane. The points over the curve C2 is mapped to another curve C2 dash in w plane. Then the angle that is made by two curves in the z plane is same as the angle that is made by C1 dash and C2 dash curve in w plane in magnitude as well as in direction. Then the mapping is called as the conformal mapping. And one sort of restriction if we impose here, then it is called as the isogonal mapping. That means the angle between C1 and C2 and C1 dash and C2 dash are same in magnitude but not in direction. Then it is called as the isogonal mapping. So I think it is clear what do you mean by the conformal and isogonal mapping. So I am defining one isogonal mapping. So fz equals to z bar is an example of isogonal mapping. So what does it map actually? So actually it maps any point in z plane to its corresponding image in w plane. So z bar is x minus iy. That means if I take a point 1 plus 2i, so it will be mapped to 1 minus 2i. That means the point 1, 2 will be mapped to 1 minus 2 and so on. And if I consider fz equals to sin z for z not equals to n pi, this will be a conformal mapping. You can vary. If I take certain values of z and define a curve, and if I take another set of values of z and define another sine curve, then if they intersect, then the angle will be preserved by virtue of the mapping fz equals to sin z. So z I am considering, so I am getting the values of sin z. If I join those by taking another set of values of z, if I get another curve as a sin z curve in w plane, then you can see that the angle will be preserved in magnitude and direction. So I am giving the example of the isogonal mapping. So this is our xy plane and this is our uv plane. That means the positive x-axis and negative y-axis gives us the uv plane. If I take any point z here, so by virtue of this mapping it will be mapped to z bar. So here you can find that the magnitude of z and z bar will be same. So the angle that is made by z with x-axis and the angle that is made by x-axis and z bar are same, that is phi. But the direction is different because the direction of the angle of the positional vector r for z will be anti-clockwise direction, and the direction for the z bar point with respect to x-axis will be in the clockwise direction. So these magnitudes are same whenever this z is mapped to z bar, but their angle same is magnitude, but they are not same in direction. One is the anti-clockwise direction, another is the clockwise direction. So that is an example of isogonal mapping. So I think it is clear what do you mean by the isogonal mapping and conformal mapping. So in the next lecture actually, I have discussed what is the geometrical significance of a complex valued mapping. Then what are the different types of complex valued mapping we could define in the form of conformal and isogonal mapping with different examples. In the next lecture, I will discuss what are the common mapping. That means whenever we have studied translation, rotation, they are all common mapping. We have studied this in real valued function. So what are the geometrical figure or geometrical consequences of all this kind of mapping in complex domain. So till then, stay tuned. Thank you all for watching this